But let's get this thing recorded so you guys can watch this later. Hi, I'm Shane Snipes, and I think you probably know that I'm with sustainable1000.com and Sustainable 1000 TV and radio. We're doing 1,000 interviews around America on sustainability, focused on how we as individuals can become more sustainable by looking at 1,000 different examples of how sustainability can intersect our lives, our work, our communities, our homes, all parts of our life, because it truly does do that. And no better way to show that than through examples like this. Here at the Children's Museum in Madison, Wisconsin. I love children's museums. And you guys know that because I'm a big goofball and I have a blast when I'm doing live stuff. And Ruth's in for a treat because I always throw crazy things into the air whenever you're doing that. And you guys provide your own crazy stuff with Facebook comments and all the things that you send me with tweets. So we'll get to your questions in just a second. But Ruth, I'm really excited to talk a little bit about the Children's Museum and what you think it means in terms of an intersection of sustainability and kids.
Well, Madison Children's Museum has been green for decades. We built the first all-natural, non-toxic exhibit in 1999 and have led the industry in terms of green exhibit design. We initially started with our sustainability focus not so much to save the planet as for children's health, because our endeavor was to build the healthiest possible internal environment for kids. And when we looked at what children's museums were typically using for their construction materials, whether it was carpet that was off-gassing or plexiglass or fiberglass or plastics, it really didn't sync with what we wanted for healthy kids who have twice the respiration rate that we have, underdeveloped immune systems. It was really time to build an ultimately healthy environment. What ended up being materials that would build a healthy environment also meant that they were materials that were natural, that were not toxic, and better for the planet as well. So we got a twofer.
Sure, sure. It sounds like a big puzzle to put all that together and to come up with people who become inventive maybe in a new way. Was that ever difficult?
Well, we have an incredibly creative staff, and our staff who are really devoted to sustainability and building green. I think where the creativity came in was on our focus with repurposed, reused, and recycled materials. So when you go through our building, you'll see things used in ways that you never expected. We have a 2-story climber that includes everything from farm cisterns to a Lake Michigan buoy to an old car. We have a tinkerer's workshop that's built on an airplane fuselage that we pulled out of the woods. We have a Wayback Machine, which is like a mad scientist's dream, that includes an old dentist chair, an old pinball machine, an old phone booth with a rotary dial phone. Kids have never seen that stuff, and they're all used for different purposes.
Except those of us who are older,
yes,
right?
Right.
Like I remember my rotary phone. I always play with my rotary phone app on my modern phone here. Cracks me up. People are like, "What is that?"
So the creativity came in how to solve common construction and exhibit problems, but using all natural, recycled, reclaimed, or repurposed materials.
Fantastic. And you yourself, working in all different museums around the country through your career, do you find that a children's museum has any particular, I don't know, inspiration beyond your other type of work?
Well, I would say that a children's museum obviously has the best possible target audience because we deal with young kids. And kids who are still forming their personal values, who are still establishing their long-time life habits. We have an opportunity to show that you can live in a different way, that you can live and enjoy a sustainable building. I think it also helps that children's museums typically are fun and creative and inventive, and we get away with a lot of stuff that I'll say normal museums don't do. But it also caused us to evaluate very carefully what we were doing because we hold our target audience dear. We're doing it for kids. And in that course, we really have a strong local focus because a lot of museums, quote, build green, and they'll make an exhibit out of bamboo, for example, but forget about the fossil fuel cost it took to get that bamboo over from Asia. Right. And so we have really tried to go beyond green and do things that are not only natural but also local. And so here at Madison Children's Museum, when you come in, you know you're in Wisconsin. We have used, as much as possible, all Wisconsin products. We've used over 100 local artists who have contributed their skills. We've had processes that involve the local community, whether it's local school kids designing our bathrooms and creating bathroom tiles, to every single school in Madison having created bottle caps that we put together into a mosaic of 15,000 bottle caps. So, it's that kind of thing that really invests in a strong sense of place. And until you love and appreciate and want to preserve your community, you're not going to want to do that for the rest of the world.
Right, and don't forget cheese. You had to have some mention of cheese in your museum since we're talking about Wisconsin.
Well, we have 2 mentions of cheese. You probably could get a shot of it later. We have a life-size cow that you can crank over the moon, and the counterweight of this cow is, of course, a slice of cheese. But we also have a junk sculpture made by a local legend, Dr. Evermore, and the body of this 15-foot sculpture, which is a 2-headed bird, is an old copper cheese kettle.
Nice. See, I told you, I knew they had to have something with cheese. There's too much cheese in Wisconsin to not include it in the Children's Museum, for sure.
Well, we need that local focus.
That's right. So I find it amazing, first off, that we're on top of the roof right here and we have such beautiful views. For you, does the location of the museum have significance for being a children's museum and being part of the community here in Madison?
Oh, no question. Our primary benefactor, Jerry Frauci, pledged $5 million to buy a building if it could be within walking distance of Overture Center for the Arts, which is the large performing arts center that he funded. We are right here on Capitol Square. We're at the very heart of Madison right now. And there are so many reasons that we are glad that we're here. One, we're on all the major bus lines, and so alternative transportation is very easy. We are at the intersection of commerce and civic life, and so it's very easy for families to incorporate us into their activities because we serve as a gateway for children and families downtown. But I think more philosophically, when you look at Madison, if you've ever been here before, we've got the great big beautiful Capitol in the middle, this symbol of democracy and government. We have tons of businesses, restaurants, beautiful residences, a veterans museum, a history museum. And the one missing piece was a real commitment to the city's children. And now, right on Capitol Square, we have a major public building that is dedicated to children and families. And to have children and families at the very heart of a community, I think speaks volumes, even if people don't even ever go in the building. To see that a children's museum has major presence at a city's heart just emphasizes the priorities and the values of a community.
Definitely. That is so true. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back in just a moment with a little bit more from Executive Director Ruth here, talking about the Children's Museum in Madison, Wisconsin. So cool. I can't wait to look around and show you guys how cool this museum really is. So whenever you're in Madison, Wisconsin, come here, get inspired, and bring all those green ideas back to your own city. We'll be back in just a minute. And check out the Children's Museum's website, which is
www.madisonchildrensmuseum.org.
There you go.